right, joining us now on the hotline is Beneil Dariush, aka Benny from Anaheim Hills. Benny's been in the UFC for a long time, and just like our last guest, Vicente Luque, Dariush has a very, very similar resume where he's been doing this for a long time and consistently at a high level. Welcome back, Benny, to the show. Great to have you, man. How you doing?
Good, guys. See, I told you, I don't know what it is about my phone, but it keeps doing this. I have to like adjust it every once in a while, so you'll have to forgive me about that.
No worries. You
All
thought
right.
about trading in that iPhone 8?
I'm pretty sure this is like the newest model. I got it for my birthday. That was
Ah.
not too long ago, so I think it's a new thing, but it's got its problems. Maybe I got to turn it off and turn it on.
Well, we'll
Anyways,
power through. We'll power through. We'll figure it
anyways,
out.
yeah. Thanks for having me on, boys. You know, I really appreciate it. You guys were the first guys I ever did an interview when I entered the UFC. So it is
I remember.
good
It's
to see
been a
you.
fun ride, but how about the fact that, man, it's been a year and a half. We've spoken because you've had fights fall through, but a year and a half, man. What's that itch like? To get back in there finally. Hopefully, without jinxing it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was supposed to be a year. That was my wait time. I was gonna give my body a chance to rest. I had a hard year, and then supposed to fight in January. Fortunately for Moicano, he got pulled up to fight for the belt. Unfortunately for me, I got nothing out of it. So, um, now we're here. It took another 6 months to get another fight. So, just I, it's this is probably one of the longest waits I've had between fights.
Did you at least get the show money that night?
They gave me show and win money, so I guess
Oh,
that's really cool. But I mean, think about it. I had an opportunity to fight for the belts. I was ranked ahead of Moicano, so they could have gave me that fight. But I also understand he was on a win streak and I wasn't. So uh, that's just the way it played out. So in terms of finances, cool. It's beneficial. But I've never, if I was thinking about finances, I would have never got into fighting.
well, but still, I'm happy that you got the win and the show. So yeah, both the show and the win, well deserved. I know it's not going to always happen, but man, you've been a soldier for the UFC for a long time, and if they're going to make exceptions, you're the type of guy to make an exception for.
Yeah, I've always had a good relationship with the UFC. Man, like my Sean is cool. I talk to Sean here and there. Dana rarely, but like Hunter Campbell, like he's one of the easiest people you can have a conversation with. He just he's so easy to work with. So as far as the UFC goes, super grateful, man. I wish I got to know Hunter earlier. That's one of the things I would say.
Hmm. All right, so now that things have been kind of shuffled around, there's no more Islam Makhachev. We have Charles Oliveira fighting Ilia Topuria. You're fighting the guy that just fought, the guy you were supposed to, that was supposed to fight Islam on the same card as you and Moicano. He's kind of in the doghouse. He's gonna have to take a fight somewhere before he can get there because obviously he had gotten to that number one status. And then you got your pal Justin Gagey hovering around as well, coming off a win over Rafael Fiziev. So, Benny, when I ask you this question, how far away do you think you are from fighting for a title? What do you need to do?
Shoot, I could be maybe 2 fights away if you think about it. If I have a good performance now, I get a top five guy, and then I beat the top five guy. I'm, in title contention.
Hmm.
That's my opinion. You never know. Sometimes maybe one fight's enough. Sometimes they might make me, but I don't think it would take more than 2 fights. To be honest with you,
Did getting to see Moicano fight one more time help you at all in your preparation for Moicano again?
it's weird because you kind of get you, you get kind of stale on it. You know what I mean? I gotta freshen up on all the homework I was doing. I gotta think about all this stuff. Again, forgive me about my phone. I gotta keep doing that for whatever reason. But yeah, I gotta just I have to make all the adjustments I made for that camp. Obviously, they're fresh in the memory, but you gotta let a fighter under your butt, and you gotta get after it. So we're going back to that phase of okay, he these are the things I need to be really good at for this fight, and that's kind of where we're at right now. I drew the plan out this week, and I'm gonna go fire it and get it done at the camp this next week.
Let's talk about that because your homeboy Giga Chikadze, I saw him walk out with you and Cub Swanson. I didn't see Cordero this time. And I know that, Vittori, Gastelum, a few of the guys have gone to the gym. Can you update us on King's MMA, if you can speak on it? And will Cordero be in your camp, or has the scene been reshuffled down in the OC?
So Master Rafael is not in my corner. Just he had a long period with Tyson, and it was really hard on him. And so we kind of set up. We kind of got set up, especially for me with three kids at my gym. I got set up there, and it's a lot easier for me to do my camps there. But as far as Rafael goes, he's still my he's the guy who I started with. He taught me so much, so the relationship is still there. It's a lot harder for me to move my camp into Huntington and train there and then come back. So I'm just kind of doing everything in my gym now. As far as Giga goes, to be honest, I think he was kind of the same thing. The time apart, it was easier for him to build his camp and get ready to fight with Cub. Honestly, he worked more with Cub than with me, and I had no problem with it because he looked great in that fight.
Hmm. And will Giga? So who's your team now? The guys that work out with you, or the coaches that work out with you?
So my team, I'm pretty much the same guys because I'm still Kings MMA. My gym is called Kings MMA. A lot of the guys that were in HB will come and train with me and help me out. As far as my coaching goes, Nolan Tickman. I mean, he was my coach the whole time. Rafael was also my coach. He was kind of backup. Like Rafael is my head coach, and then uh, Nolan was. Nolan was kind of like, okay, he followed the plan of Master Rafael. So with that being said, Nolan is still there. My boxing coach I've had for a long time. His name is Rodell Mayol. I've had him for the last maybe 5 years. I want to say I started working with him before maybe the Tony Ferguson fight. So he's been there for a while. Grappling, I've kind of had to do a little bit of my own thing. I'm kind of my own grappling coach more than I like, but I have a lot of guys who give me direction as well. So grappling is the only thing that's really changed the most. I have to spend a lot more time studying, but I don't mind it because there's so much I can learn.
Benny, I have a little bit of a twist on one of George's questions because it was something that I wanted to ask you. When you did hear Moicano again, I know some fighters have kind of always had that feeling of unfinished business, right? It's great to you prepared already once. It's nice to do it again. But had they given you a fresh name, would that have been better, or do you like kind of resolving the fight before?
Yeah, I don't really look at it as an unfinished business. When I talked to Hunter, I was like, "Hey, Hunter, at a certain age, I fought everybody behind me. Every single fight I've had, I feel like has always been behind me. The only fight that really like put me ahead was the fight with Tony Ferguson. So I got to thank Tony Ferguson for allowing me a shot into the top five. But even then, I ended up going back and fighting. Uh, 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 Matus Gamrot. So like I've always fought behind, and I don't really want to do that anymore. I want to fight guys in the top 10, and I want to move forward, and that's kind of how I want to do things. And he's like, yeah, man, I totally understand. So we worked out this fight because everybody else was taken. They did mention actually a rematch with Gamrot, and I said yeah, of course, because he's ranked ahead of me. It makes sense. We could do that, but for whatever reason, I don't know. I doubt Gamrot said no. I think they just didn't make the fight happen. So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah.
Um, we mentioned Cub Swanson earlier in the interview, and you're right. Giga did like we were watching that fight, and I think him and I were both saying kind of the same thing. Like he looks pretty good. I know it didn't go his way, but there was definitely some changes, and I don't know if a lot of that's mental or physical, but I thought you guys all worked good as a team together. Does that apply with you as well? Like, do you ever go down there and train with his guys? Do his guys ever come to your gym? Is that something you guys are gonna work on?
If I could make it out to Cubs gym, I would go back to Master Rafael. The problem is for me, like moving around is really difficult because I am very involved with my kids. Like nobody else is raising my kids, is what I'm saying. My wife and I, we spent a lot of time with our kids. So, um, my kids come to my practice in the morning, so we'll go to my gym. My gym is set up in a way where, like, if there's a bunch of kids in the morning there, like homeschool parents and things like that, they'll bring their kids, they'll train, and their kids will be doing their thing. And so after I'm done, I'll shower, get cleaned up, do recovery, whatever. But then I go home right away. I help my wife put the kids to bed. It's a process, and it's really difficult for me to move around a lot because before, one of the things I love to do, it was to go out to L.A., even further than L.A., Ventura, uh, Northridge for jujitsu with my jujitsu coach Homo Bahal, but it's so difficult. Every single time I do it, well, my back hurts from the drive because I'm getting older, but also just I miss out on everything. I pretty much miss out my whole day with my kids because I would have to leave at like 8 a.m. And then by the time I get back, it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock. I missed, and then my kids are gonna be in bed by 9 o'clock. So I missed out most of my day with my kids.
What do you think of there being a switch at the top now, right? The in your division, who do you think is going to end up with that belt? Do you have a preference on who you would like to have that belt when you get there?
I don't think I have a preference. Obviously I want the best fighter to win. Um, it really for me. What's really interesting to see is if Ilya's style will translate because from 145 to 155 to the same way because there is a different obviously there's a different size, but there's going to be a different pressure in that size difference. So, will he be able to apply the same pressure at 155? Will he be able to handle the grappling at 155? And I feel like the answer is yes, but I'm looking forward to seeing it, especially against a guy like Charles. Charles is fantastic.
You know, you said you mapped out the game plan yesterday. You know, whatever you want to, the way you want to prepare.
For my training camp. Yeah,
Was there a little note at the top that said championship weight?
always.
Yeah.
I've come to realize that's always a thing now because for the fight last time, I got the call. I got the call at, let's say, what was it? Like I don't know if it was midnight or like 2 a.m. from Ollie saying, and you don't really sleep that much when you're that drained on Thursday night because I was gonna cut my weight Friday morning. So he calls me, texts me, he's like, "Can you make 55?" I was like, "Done." So I'll just have that in mind ahead of time because my weight cut was so smooth this last time. I got to 56 with 3 hours left before the weigh-ins, and then the last pound obviously is harder. It took a little bit longer, but if I'm more disciplined in my approach, even that last pound won't be an issue.
How do you think you would have done if they would have called your name instead of Moicano's name?
I would have won.
Knockout or submission?
It would have been a finish for sure. It wasn't going to go 5 rounds. The way Makhachev and I fight, it's not going 5 rounds.
You had a smile on your face, like it's something that you've thought a lot about, right? Like it's something that's, I think, burning inside of you. Like I guess timing in life, because man, you had that impressive 8-fight win streak. You
Yeah.
hadn't lost like in 4 years, but it just didn't happen to match up with when this happened.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say. Neither of us have ever lost a decision. He doesn't lose decisions. I don't lose decisions. So I think, I just don't, I don't think I was going to lose that fight. I'm pretty sure I was going to win that fight.
And did a lot of did I feel like this was probably one of your least favorite nights. So I'm sorry that I'm asking you questions, but you're a local. So did a lot of people purchase tickets, and were they allowed to either refund, or how did that work out, or did everyone just take it on the chin knowing, like, damn, it's just bad luck?
So everyone pretty much took it on the chin, and then I told my fans like, hey, I know some of you guys were coming just to see me, so I did a thing at my gym. I told them, hey, listen, I'll be at my gym at these hours. If anybody wants to come say hello, come say hello. I'll be there. I'll take picture with you guys. I'll sign stuff for you. So I made it up for the fans that were coming just to see me, and come to the gym. It was the morning of that fight, so people came in. I had about 2 hours of people just coming in, hanging out, talking to me, taking pictures. So I feel like I did, I kind of made it up to them, but obviously it's not the same thing as seeing their guy fight.
Right. No, that's very cool that you did that. You're so cognizant of the people that support you.
It was my
And
wife's idea. I wish I could take credit, but that was my wife's idea.
oh yeah. And at any point in time, well, no, I guess you already answered when Ali said, "Hey, can you make it?" So it's they your name went through their thinking process before they decided on Moicano. So I yeah, that's all I was curious about, but it sounds like at least they thought about you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like when they were, because Ollie was like, I think they're gonna go with Moicano. I messaged Hunter and I said, listen, Moicano's not gonna last the round. He doesn't have the style for this fight. You should give the fight to me. And Hunter calls me and explains to me, listen, you're on a losing streak. This guy's on a win streak. It's just that easier. It's an easier sell. And I said, all right, whatever. But that's where I was just trying, and I was being honest. It wasn't like I was. I just didn't think Moicano has the style to beat Makhachev.
Yeah. Well, no, and there's nothing wrong with you making a pitch for yourself.
Yeah,
Because it's not like you didn't know you had a losing streak. And I think basically what you were trying to say is, hey, look, I've also beaten a lot of killers prior to these two fights, and so it's not just like me presenting myself as the guy coming off two losses, but rather than the consistent top 10 reach top 5 8-fight win streak, with notable wins, that's making the plea. And man, we were hoping that it would be you. And it's no disrespect to Money Moicano or nothing like that, but like I say, I felt like it was more of a would be a legacy choice, maybe.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's in the past. I don't overthink it. It happened, and now we're here. I have my doubts. Like I don't have my doubts. I know God's plans for me, so I'm just gonna continue to do what I do, and I'm gonna work this all through.
I'm going to ask you a question that I think I already know the answer to, and I respect you for it. You were talking about your kids mean so much that you don't even want to miss a second of them growing up, you being part of them, you being a father and guiding them and loving them and all that stuff. But a lot of people that listen to this interview might say, man, aren't fighters supposed to be a little selfish and think of themselves while you're 36, I believe, because at some point you're not going to be able to do it, and then you can be dad of the year for the next 20 years. But yet, could you be possibly shorting yourself by not getting sessions with others, that require travel? How would you answer that? And I want to be honest, I'm a little curious myself, but
Uh,
man, as you've been talking about your kids, I like I say, I have a tremendous respect for how you've answered the previous questions, but I guess I just wanted to maybe specify more like the way I did it.
Yeah, honestly, I totally agree with people who say that. It's not like they're wrong. The thing is, because I've had my kids, I've been able to make these adjustments where I'm able to bring these high level people to me. It makes my life easier, and the stress of knowing like of not missing out
Yeah.
on my kids, that's huge for me. So I understand that you need to go train with high level people. So I brought the high level people to me. I know they're like, well, go to this place or do that. It's like uh, everybody I have is either going to be like they have a big future. They're going to have a big future in the game, or they're already in the UFC. So it's not like I'm training with guys who are just beginners or something, just so I can be with my kids. I'm training with high level people. It just I'm not sacrificing anything, and I'm. This is because I'm fortunate enough to be in such a position where I can bring these people to me.
And them kids are lucky, man. You know, for there's so many, I guess, fathers that just don't go the extra mile like you are. So I think that needs to be commended. So,
I
what,
appreciate it.
what update me now. You have 2 girls and a boy, or 3 girls, or what?
3 girls.
Ooh,
I make
man.
I make females exclusively. My wife is, I don't want to say pissed because our daughters are beautiful, but she's been wanting a boy, man. All Asians are big on having boys, and it turns out I only make women. So
Are you
we'll
guys
try
done, or are you
we'll,
still you still gonna grow the family?
we'll try a few more times. We'll see how it goes. Here's
Wow.
I think what's happening. My wife is like, okay, we're gonna keep trying till we have a boy. But the thing is, I'm not saying I don't want a boy, but like boys isn't like top of the list for me. If I have another girl, I'm perfectly happy. I always wanted daughters. I have so many guys in the gym. Some of them are like now almost like my kids. Some of them are like my younger brothers, and then I have some few now that are older than me that are like my older brothers, and so I got plenty of men in my life. I like the fact that I get to have more women in my life.
I can't wait to see when your daughters are going to homecoming dances, prom dances. The boy shows up with the corsage. How Papa Benny's gonna react? You know, like come here, boy. Let's have a little speech off to the side before you pin that corsage on my daughter. Or if you're laid back or what, you know, and maybe you'll have belts hanging and pictures of how you get down. That'd be
I,
pretty funny
let me
and
just put it.
intimidating for the young fella.
Let me just put it this way: I have guns right now. I will have a lot more guns then.
You don't need guns.
I don't know. By then I'll be like close to 50. Maybe they'll think this old man. Well, guns they don't recognize age. They don't discriminate. So
True. You can answer the door like Yosemite Sam just got him there on a holster on you, or what?
something like that. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm a big believer in come to my house with good intentions and for genuine intentions. Don't come to my house at all.
If those guys happen to see this interview, is there something they could bring you to, like a Rams jersey or um something like that, maybe your favorite pie, just something that would butter you up a little bit?
Show up to my house. Say, listen. I'm only here for one reason. I want to marry your daughter. I'm not trying to do anything else but marry your daughter. Then you're welcome in my house. You show up and I ask you, "Hey, what are your intentions with my daughter?" And the first word that comes out of your mouth is, I don't know." I'm going to kick you out.
I like it. All right.
If you don't know, what are you doing here, champ? Like this ain't the I don't know house. This is a different story.
So yeah, so right from day one, you're treating this serious. There's no feeling out stage. We just like each other.
Yeah, yeah. I like my dogs. Who cares? Like what? What is that? Like I like coffee. What does that do? That does nothing. I'm asking you a question. Answer my question.
So you want that young high schooler to say, "Man, I'd like to marry her one day." That's the answer
He
you want to
shows
hear?
up and says, "That's why I'm here." Yeah, that's how it should be.
Wow. I
And
like
even
the style, Benny. Direct.
st-
I like it.
statistics even talk about it. You get married earlier, your chances are typically better.
Hmm. All right. Hey, thanks for having a good sense of humor with some of our questions
No problem.
and also answering the ones from the fight that didn't happen. I know that's a rough time, but hey, this one's dialed in. It's gonna go down. I know it. In Newark, and no, this one's in Vegas, huh?
Las
It's
Vegas,
Vegas.
baby. I'll be with you
317.
boys.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you in a few weeks then.
Yeah, sounds good, brother.